Hello, Fort friends! Today's video is dedicated to delivering on our promise to review all the games we played in September. From cozy decorating sims to co-op adventures, we definitely played a lot. As usual, I've sorted the video by game name and genre, so you can skip around and avoid anything you might not enjoy. That said, don't be afraid to venture out of your comfort zone from time to time. You never know what you might find hiding in the oceans of the unknown. Without further ado, let's get started. The first game on our list to talk about is Voyagers of Nera. Derek and I have been impatiently waiting for its early access, as anything that allows us to explore the open world side by side and preferably co op without any PvP to ruin the experience sits high at the top of our gaming list. To sum it up simply, Voyagers is what happens when you blend Moana into a survival RPG. You get magical spirits and sharks intent on snacking on your leg for lunch, all wrapped up for the night in beautiful tropically themed homes and bases. You'll spend your days adventuring around the world, using your surfboard and boats to explore, beat up everything from crabs to lizard people to collect an array of resources that you'll need to survive and build up your base. The special thing about this one, though, is that you'll be freeing and collecting spirits along your journeys that you'll then use to craft ability upgrades and enhance yourself with. You even get a cute companion of your choice that will change based on what element you want to specialize in. And before you worry about something like spirit enslavement, don't worry, we work in tandem with these cute creatures. They even get their own literal food bowl at the dinner table. In terms of what the experience actually felt like, it was entirely seamless for us. From the gameplay being smooth and stable, which feels rare in co-op indies these days, to the mechanics being freeing and fun. Skidding across the water from island to island, picking up shiny treasures, and beating up lizard men was highly addictive. Especially because once we were finished exploring, often due to overloaded bags and cargo holds, returning to base and enjoying the freedom of their building experience, well, it was peak. As much as I adore the experience co op, I will keep it honest and say I don't know how much I would enjoy the game single player, as it's similar to a lot of other things already currently in the Steam inventory that offer far more in depth systems. Of course, I'd ask that we be mindful that Voyagers of Nera is still in early access, so a lot more is to come. I'd say if you want to play it solo, perhaps waiting for a 1.0 launch might be a better option. However, if you are looking for an awesome new experience for a few game nights with friends, Voyagers of Nera has a strong recommendation from us. Now, we don't rate early access titles, but you can take that for what you want. And if you want a special look at the gameplay, we do have a co-op live stream recap that you can watch anytime. Another early access title we had the pleasure of taking a look at last month was The Home County. This adorably cozy village building sim and life sim sets us in the British countryside. Your goal is to gradually evolve the area into a thriving village, starting with a generously sized plot of land and tips from the neighbors on how to succeed. Instead of regular farming sims, you'll be employing others to grow your crops, craft your tools, and improve your village. That said, you'll still need to be crafty enough to turn a profit on the things you can do, which includes daily tasks from the board for your neighbors, and of course, getting out the trusty fishing pole and raking in the money from the water's bounties. The system I adored most in this one, though, was the mines. Rather than smacking every rock until you find a hole in the ground, you'll be digging through the walls in search of the TNT pillar that will, in turn, explode and expose a new part of the mines. It was incredibly addicting. Not to mention a refreshing change from the typical experience we're usually offered. Of course, the deeper you go, the more new shinies you find, so that remains the same. Eventually, once you get through everything in the mines, you can use a charge of explosives to entirely reset it and run through it again. I know I've said it, but it's addicting. Something to consider, though, is that the map is a bit smaller than your average life or farming sims. But that's to be expected given it's being developed by a single person and still in early access. We say it constantly, but if you prefer a fully fleshed out 1.0 experience, then perhaps wait for that to come. That said, if you want to help support it early and shape its development by providing thorough feedback, then I'd highly suggest giving it a playthrough and joining the game's Discord. I honestly enjoyed my time with it. One hilarious game we played as a duo this last month was Try to Drive, an absolutely infuriating physics based co op title that puts one person on the pedals and one on the handles of a bike. From there, you'll attempt to navigate together through a maddening obstacle course full of things ready to send you to your doom. From cars that send you flying to fully loaded cannons and even wooden windmills. Nothing will permit you to pass without thorough planning and consideration from both players. Now, Derek and I spent just over an hour in the game and had made it more than halfway up the obstacle course. Thankfully, there are plenty of check marks along the way, so you don't lose your progress all at once should you fall. That said, there are difficulty scales, so if you're a total masochist, you can make that hard should you want to. Considering we had over 100 deaths and weren't even halfway up the course, I wouldn't recommend it, but I'm a far stretch from a god gamer, so use that knowledge accordingly. All in all, we actually had a blast with the game. We aren't the type of players to rage or get annoyed, and personally, it's nothing but utterly hilarious if you go in knowing you're not going to get it all in one try. Unfortunately, this game is 2 players only, so if you want to play it solo, that's not an option. Alas, if you do have a buddy you think is up to the task, that you trust, or perhaps don't, then it comes with a stamp of approval from us.
It's been 15 long years since we got our last skate game. In that time, there have been a few skateboarding games released, like more realistic ones such as Session and Skater XL, all the way to arcade ones like Ollie Ollie World. I mean, even Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 and 3 was completely remastered and released. For me, though, nothing ever compared to the enjoyment that I got out of Skate 3. Just casually skating through a town and city, doing realistic tricks, then landing a 360 hard flip backflip into a board slide on the longest rail you've ever seen. It really hit the spot on the fun factor. Well, I'm happy to say that from a gameplay element, EA's new free to play title Skate hits the nail on the head. Just like in Skate 3, Skate operates by flicking your right stick to perform flip tricks. It's a really simple yet satisfying method that the series has been using since the beginning. It creates a really accessible experience for those who may not be as ingrained in the science behind skateboarding. Your skating experience takes place in San Vansterdam, which is a city designed specifically for skateboarding. Everything from the structures to the stairwells were created with skaters in mind. Even the local politicians are skateboarders, which I'll get to later. There are just so many different unique spots to skate. Oftentimes, I'll just ride through the city looking for new routes to take. It's almost too perfect, which is where I have some criticism. I'm not a skater myself. I used to ride skateboards in my driveway, but I never made it out of said driveway. The fact that everything in this game is anchored so heavily around skaters takes away from the raw grittiness of the previous titles. There's some, and I say that lightly, construction going on around the map, but mostly everything is clean and perfect. This does impact the feel of the experience just a bit. I will take a quick moment to talk about the game being free to play. There are some cosmetics that are locked behind payment. These include some of the staple skate attire like Vans. However, there are plenty of options that you can get just by playing the game and upgrading the regions. I understand being locked out of cosmetics is frustrating, especially when paid games normally allow you to unlock everything through playing. However, I never played Skate 3 for how my character looked. I just played to skate. At the end of the day, this game has given me exactly what I wanted from a skate game: the ability to ride realistically and the ability to skydive off a tower and slam into a bridge. This is everything that I and so many others were doing in Skate 3. That the direction makes sense. They created the ability for us to skate in a way that only our imagination could create. If you're like me and this makes up 90% of what you want in the game, then don't be deterred by it being free to play. Hop in and ride. The gameplay is crisp, the riding is smooth, and it's a blast.
If you've been looking for a relaxing point and click title to enjoy, perhaps Little Problems will offer the experience you're craving. In it, you'll take on the role of Mary, a university freshman, as she navigates personal challenges with friends, family, and classmates. The gameplay focuses on solving everyday mysteries with a colorful and manga like graphic style. Navigate your way through dozens of puzzles using logic, deduction, and a lot of clue management to progress through the story. Little Problem shines in providing a calm, thoughtful experience in a cozy slice of life environment. Nothing about it is stressful, so long as you utilize your notebook and perhaps grab a pen and paper. It truly is wholesome, and if you're a puzzle lover, incredibly fun. If you tend to be on the fence about puzzle games, don't worry. There are built in hint systems, and the game will automatically recognize when an answer in your solutions is wrong, so you won't be all on your own when trying to deduce the puzzles. Obviously, this title is short and simple in nature, but that's typical of this genre. And honestly, it's an adorable little game. While I wouldn't recommend it for those who want something with replayability and more active gameplay, it does come with my stamp of approval and recommendation for those who do enjoy this genre. One of my favorites within the last few weeks is undoubtedly the new Story of Seasons game. And if we're operating on time played alone, it would also sit among the top. Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar is a farming and life sim that focuses on breathing life back into Zephyr Town's famous bazaar. You can expect all the beloved mechanics, from growing a multitude of crops to raising a dozen different types and color combinations of animals. The thing that shines about this entry into the simulation world, though, is that it offers much more than just your daily chores. With countless activities and events, including horse riding and shows, plus crop and product quality to worry about, there's truly never a lack of things to do. Now, there are a few key differences about this game compared to others in the genre, and one of them is that there's no mines or combat. Story of Seasons has always sought to be the staple of the cozy genre, and it doesn't stray from that in this entry. While there are plenty of rocks to smack all around the map, no creepy bats or pesky living stones will come to pester you while you do it. The game also puts a heavy focus on community, offering plentiful rewards for getting to know your neighbors and improving things within the area. By far my favorite part, though, was the bazaar itself. Hoarding items all week and then selling them for massive profit all in one day is by far the most satisfying thing in this game. A large part of your journey is improving your bazaar over time, and with it comes more vendors and more stuff to spend your hard earned money on. I will gripe and say that your stamina is a nightmare to manage, and sometimes the days feel a tad too short to get everything done that you want. So it's not perfect either. That said, if you hoard eggs and grow some rice, the eggs over rice recipe provides plenty of stamina to get you through your days, especially once your chickens and produce are of higher quality. All in all, if you want a solid, cozy farming sim to play, I highly recommend it, and it comes with a heavy stamp of approval from us.
If you're like me and have been craving some fast paced, high octane vault hunting, then you'll be happy to hear that Gearbox is back again in full swing with their next installment of Borderlands. Like the previous games, in Borderlands 4, you take the role of a vault hunter, suited with a wide arsenal of abilities and an even wider, near infinite arsenal of weapons to blast, boom, bang, and explode your way to riches and glory. You find yourself on the planet Carius, which is under heavy rule of the Timekeeper. He stands between you and loot, so of course we're going to help dismantle his tyrannical leadership. This is done by disrupting the clans that make up the three main regions of the planet. Each region has a vastly different aesthetic, ranging from lush green hills to arid badlands. In a new first for Borderlands, most of the playable areas are accessible through seamless transitions and no loading screens. A few of the buildings and strongholds that you enter will have a quick 5-second screen, however, most of the game is enjoyed stall free. This is a great transition for the game as it connects your cross country journeys across the land in your fancy new hoverbike. The characters are extremely unique as well. I'm playing as Rafa, the Exo Soldier, while Darling is playing as Vex, the Siren. We pair well together with her large array of elemental abilities and my giant shotgun cannons on my shoulders. These characters shine in the fast paced movement that you can expect in the new installment. You are equipped with a grappling hook that you can use to propel yourself across the map. Additionally, you can double jump, dash, and even glide. This creates a new handbook for gameplay possibilities, both vertically and horizontally. The writing is witty and funny, and a little crude, but that's what you expect from a game like Borderlands. I will note that we have experienced a few connection issues in our time playing, resulting in crashes and desyncs. However, 95% of the time, we've enjoyed our experience issue free. I think fans alike will greatly enjoy this game, especially if they have some friends to explore with.
For our fans of deeply layered management sims, I might point you towards Business Heroes Street Grub. If you ever played the iconic Lemonade Tycoon of the early 2000s, then you'll no doubt recognize the systems offered in Business Heroes. Of course, you won't be just selling lemonade, and there are infinitely more mechanics in place than the tiny browser game of the past. That said, the gameplay loop of opening up your own burger stand, upgrading it a few times, perfecting your menu, and then expanding your street corner empire to conquer all edges of the city is quite addicting. With some advanced accounting systems baked in, if you love micromanaging every aspect of your games, then this one will cater to you wonderfully. That said, as someone who enjoys being a little less involved, I can say that I didn't find it at all overwhelming to learn either. So don't feel like you need a degree to play the game. Honestly, I had a good time with it. I tend to grow bored of these games quickly, only because I prefer a side dish of adventure and excitement with my Sims. But for those who do enjoy the simpler things in life, I'd recommend this one any day of the week. Of course, it's only in early access, so I won't rate it, but feel free to take my comments for what you want and decide if you'd rather support it now or wait till 1.0. One casual adventure I thoroughly enjoyed last month was Gloomy Eyes. Best described as Tim Burton meets Warm Bodies, this tale had me genuinely curious not only in its wholesomely creepy story, but also in its intriguing single player co op gameplay style. You'll switch between Gloomy and Nina to solve multi leveled problems, tapping into each character's strengths and navigating their weaknesses to advance through the story. The most helpful part of the experience is that each level is done in diorama format. If at any time you feel lost or confused, zoom out to take an overworld look through the level to see if you can't figure out the missing pieces to the puzzle in your mind. I found it extremely helpful when I would inevitably end up running in circles, physically unable to connect the dots due to the way I was looking at them. I must admit, it's probably one of the more brilliant puzzle games I've played lately. Between the depth of the actual gameplay and puzzles themselves, or the eerie wholesomeness of the story, it just felt like a well balanced experience. Even my hiccups along the way felt planned, with a solution to them already in plain sight, so long as I was willing to evaluate them from a different angle. Given how beautifully designed the world is, it's nothing but a pleasure to take a glance at from a distance either. While I don't have any complaints about the game and thoroughly enjoyed every aspect of the experience, I can say that if you're looking for something less linear, then this isn't it. While there's enough room to explore a bit and navigate each level, I would not classify it as an open world or explorative experience. Just something to bear in mind if you tend to shy away from this genre for those reasons. That said, if you're looking for a more linear yet incredibly lovely story to navigate your way through, then you'll be happy to know it's earned a firm stamp of approval from me. Our last game of the video is Whisper of the House. This seemingly cozy room cleanup and organization game has us moving into a new town and taking up the job of a decorator. We'll clean up any trash in each space, then rearrange the furniture to meet our clients' needs. While working our way through each job, you'll slowly uncover eerie secrets or hiding spaces that seem to tell a darker story. Your neighbors might just have literal skeletons in their closet and have allowed you to willingly go into their home and clean them out. When you're not working a job, you'll be able to freely explore the city. My favorite part was finding Grandma's porridge nestled in the trash can, so which, don't worry, we did not eat it. There are also secrets hiding in the form of weird purple glitches all over the map, and if you uncover them all, you might just learn what's really going on. The game itself seems simple, yes, but admittedly it was executed well. I had a pretty grand time just completing each job and looting every trash can I saw while going between the different areas. Hunting down the glitches was also a nice distraction, and just having an overworld in general gave me the illusion that the game wasn't just an organization sim, which worked well in maintaining my attention span while playing the game. Sure, if simple isn't your thing, then it's perfectly okay to skip, but I definitely think our casual crew who enjoy the genre will want to give this one a shot. So I'm happily awarding it with our stamp of approval. And we're finally to the end of the video. I apologize that we didn't get this out earlier in the month, but as typical with Steam Next Fest months, we've been utterly drowning in games, news, and content projects. To say we're looking forward to November being here and October being gone would be putting it mildly. But alas, at least we're over the hump of the busy season and can breathe for a day or two. Remember, if any games sparked your interest, then toss them on your wish list. Even if you're not planning on buying immediately, at least you'll be notified when they go on sale and can find them easily for when you do get the itch to play. If you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving us a like. And if you want to see more from us, then make sure to click the subscribe button to keep coming back to our cozy fort. Thanks all for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.